Something that's been going on in the past couple of months/year is that I just haven't been reading very much. And that's partially due to life being busy and me being tired, and that's just partially due to laziness. I'm sure a lot of you use Goodreads to track your reading throughout the year. I'm no different. I actually really enjoy Goodreads. I love the new update. I think it looks really nice, although I don't think that they fixed all the interface issues. But all of those things aside, I love tracking what I'm reading, and I love working on my reading challenge every year. This year, I set my reading challenge to 52 books, so 1 book a week, which seems easy, but a couple of weeks ago I realized I was already 20 books behind. At that point, I knew that I had to do something, and besides that, I really, really wanted to read. So I started to try and figure out what I could do to catch up on my Goodreads challenge. As of right now, I think I'm down to 16, so I've read about 4 books. I'm not doing amazing, but at least I've made some progress and it feels good to me. You know, I definitely prescribe to the idea that you don't have to finish your Goodreads challenge. You don't have to meet that goal. I changed my goal 3 times last year. I started at 100 because in 2014, I think I read 70 or something like that. I was just on this like booktube buzz. And in 2015, everything went downhill. I think I ended up with a goal of 40 that I met. And that's actually incredible. Like, who are we kidding, guys? If you read more than 1 book a month, you are doing better than most people. So anyway, I thought that I would just talk a little bit about some of the things I've been doing to kind of up the amount I've been reading and just talk about the books that I've chosen to hopefully get through this large amount of books that I really need to catch up on for myself. Not for any other reason, I really want to do it, and I'm really excited. So the first thing that I did when I realized that I really wanted to try hard to catch up on my reading goal was I made a list on my phone. I use Google Keep. I use a lot of Google products. I love Google Drive and stuff like that. And Google Keep has been really great. So I put together a list of about 20 books that I wanted to read, and I focused on short books. And so far, that has been a really amazing and important piece of this puzzle. So I would say that I started trying to catch up right in the middle of reading The Rook, which is actually a huge book. But luckily for me, I was super into The Rook, where I've struggled with other books about the same length in the past year or so. I kind of flew through The Rook. I was really interested in it. So that was a lot of fun, and I think that's something else that is important when you're trying to catch up. Just make sure you're picking books that are interesting to you and fun, and don't focus on buying the most fancy pants like literary fiction book. I can't believe I just said that. Don't worry about getting any like massive classics on your list. Like, no. After I read that, I started on my list that I made, and the first book that I really needed to finish was The Awakening by Chopin. I had read part of this, but mostly I had read the short stories before The Awakening, and I finally got to it. And it was a really great choice for this because it was thought-provoking, but at the same time, it was just a quick, short, classic read that I had been meaning to read for a long time. The other book that I've already read that was on my list was Binti by Nnedi Okorafor. I absolutely love Who Fears Death, and that was a really long book. I knew that I wanted to read all of her work, and I've been hearing about Binti for ages. I finally just caved and bought it on my Kindle, and I don't have my Kindle. I have lost my Kindle. It's gone. So I've been reading on this old iPad that I have. It's not old, it's just not brand new. So anyway, Binti was great too. At this point, I was on a total kick. So this has really been working out for me, actually. I think having a challenge makes all the difference for me. The next book that I wanted to read and finish was Cursed Child, and I knew that it would be fast, so that was a really good pick. And even though I didn't love it, I'm still glad that I read it, and also it was really, really fast because it was a play. I'll talk more about all these books in my wrap-up and in reviews, so stay tuned for that. But I finished reading an arc I got of After Atlas. I got it from NetGalley, and I can't even with words on this one. I have none. If you haven't read Planetfall by Emma Newman yet, you need to read it. It's science fiction, but it's really an exploration of people and mental illness and, you know, how we cope with stress and how technology affects us. All of these things. It's such a good book. You need to be prepared for November 8th and then you need to go out to your library or the bookstore and get After Atlas. I will talk more about that in a review, but not until October, because it's not coming out yet. So as you can see, most of the books that I've read so far for this little challenge that I've given myself have been short books and books that I've been meaning to read for a long time and books that were exciting. So I think that's my best advice for this situation. If you're looking for advice, I don't know if you came here for advice, but there you have it. Look for short, fun books. Look for classics that aren't quite as challenging. Although there's a lot going on in The Awakening, I still felt like it was something that I could grapple with in this situation. So I wanted to talk about some of the other books that I'm going to be reading to catch up on my Goodreads reading goal. So this is also sort of a TBR for me, which I never do. But in this case, I'm trying really hard to do that. First of all, I still need to finish Shrill by Lindy West, which I am absolutely loving. Lindy West is incredible, and if you want to read about what it's like to be a woman on the internet, this is your book. And also if you're a woman, and also if you want to understand what it's like to be a woman. All good reasons to read this book. I also have a pile of library books here, so I'm just going to quickly run through them and talk a little bit about why I picked them for this. The first one is The Haunting on Hill House by Shirley Jackson. I actually wanted one of her other short books, but this is what my library had, so I grabbed it. I actually love the movie that they adapted from this book. It has Liam Neeson in it, and Catherine Zeta-Jones, and some other people, and it's just a really touching, like, scary movie. So, hoping the book has that kind of interesting situation happening. I've never read any Henry James. Never in my entire English major career did I read Henry James. So, I'm gonna try. I don't know, he's famous or whatever. I got The Turn of the Screw because it's small. This is how you do it. When I was younger in school, long ago, I read Willa Cather's book, My Antonia, and I remember loving it. I don't remember anything about it because I have a really bad memory, but I thought that Oh Pioneers would be a good choice for this because I know that I like her writing, and it's very small. The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie by Muriel Spark. I got this for similar reasons to all the other books. You will not be surprised. From the library, I impulsively grabbed Little Women because I've never actually read this, and the movie was important to me when I was younger. I really loved it. So I have it, and it's not small, but I think it'll be a quick read. And I don't even know if I'm going to read it. I just grabbed it. I felt compelled. It happened. The last library book that I have is Children of Men by P.D. James. I read P.D. James' book, An Unsuitable Job for a Woman, when I was in a lit class on women's detective fiction, and it was really cool and fun. The book is not fun, it's sad-ish. Also, it's just a crime book. But that was great. Then I read Death Comes to Pemberley on my own, and I hated it, but there are reasons, you know, reasons. So, just like Little Women, this is not a short book. I didn't pick it up intending to 100% finish it, I was just grabbing books. So, anyway, those are all the books that I have physically, not including some on my shelves that I already own. I'm going to put the list down below of all of the other books that I'm thinking about reading. If you have recommendations for short books, if you have recommendations for how to catch up on your Goodreads reading goal, if you want to talk about your Goodreads reading goal, leave a comment below, and I would love to talk with you if you feel like it, and we can commiserate together, or whatever. And someday, we might actually do this. Anyway, that's everything I have for today. Thank you for watching. Thanks for sticking around, even though I don't post a lot. And hopefully I will see you very soon. Bye. I actually love the movie that this was, I actually love the movie that this book, I actually love the, I have never read any blah, blah, blah. I also got The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie by Muriel Spark. I read, and so I'm a screw up. I just filmed 4 minutes of footage without my microphone on.